Please welcome to the stage Solimán López, new media artist and founder of Harddiskmuseum.
Hello. Hello. I would like to show you something I have in my hands that, if you are far away, you are thinking that it's invisible. This small, tiny thing, tiny vial, is containing a lot of witness of life. And myself here, taking that in my hand, I'm connecting with this kind of life entity directly in the single moment. So I would love to see how you react if I tell you that here I have in my hands the information of more than 6,093 species. We are one of them, for sure, because we are almost everywhere, but they were found in a very special place. In my right side, you can see the technology behind to find those species. They are primers. A primer is like if you have to imagine like a wagon in a train, the primer is allowing nature to connect with what we are already pre-designed to get this information happen. So this is a wagon on the right side, there's a wagon on the left side, and then in the middle of is the information of those species that are recognized by its own DNA. So, for example, the bacteria Archaea, it has this sequence that is almost also invisible for our eyes because we don't understand what means A, C, T, G. They are only amino acids, but are the basic amino acids that are organizing our life and our biodiversity. And I will tell something else about what means biodiversity. Why, when we are emphasizing the nature, we say biodiversity, and when we are emphasizing human, we say diversity. We are not belonging to this world, we are not belonging to this nature, we are not bio itself. So how we can actually gather and connect in a single concept that is, by the way, connecting the whole life sequence in different conceptual artworks. My name is Solimán López. I'm working with biotechnology and science, different kind of new technologies in a raw aspect, to gather and to put together a new challenge of humanity. And now today I would love to talk to you about environmental DNA. In my right side, we were working previously with Zina Seeker. Thank you so much for having me on the stage one more time. And with Natalia Jaskevich, we were working on synthesizing information from brains into DNA. And in my right side, it's part of my documentary about my project Capsite in the Amazon. Recently, I've been there spending 1 month with the community Casilla Naira in the south of Colombia, in Leticia, 11 kilometers from this city. So the environmental DNA is everything, any trace of genetics, genetic data that we can find in our environment. Now, here, even with the plastic plants, there's DNA potentially from the people who was installing the stage. On all of us, we are leaving traces. I'm talking, and potentially in this microphone, there will be part of myself, for sure. In the stage, everywhere, in the coffee machines, everywhere. That information is telling a lot about how we are connected with the others, and how that connection could be literally stamped in the time. And in the right side, for sure, we are human entities. The most important thing that we have, I think, is our brain. It's the only thing that is separating ourselves to the rest of the consciousness of the planet. We need our brain, to highlight our brain with more information to understand where we are living, because we are a very complex species. But nature is kind of working differently. Now we are also running the program in Art Proxima, that is the Buddhist, in my left side. And we have artworks that are even potentially imagining new kind of intelligence through organisms that they are not wearing in their bodies kind of brain. They have no central system to analyze the world, but all collectively, all these small unicellular particles, they are working together as a community to find the intelligence, the collective intelligence. And that is what's happening with environmental DNA. So let me introduce you the secret drop. The secret drop is a concept. It's a concept about how we can put together the knowledge and the consciousness of humans and nature through DNA storage and DNA analysis. So basically, what I'm proposing with this project is the connection between the human consciousness and the secrets that are invisible for us, but are stay in the rainforest in this case. But the agency of this project is going further, because I'm using, let's say, the Amazon environment as an iconography for the problematics of the world, but we have many more. I mean, the world is in danger, as we already are noticing. So biotech and conceptual art to respect the planet, Earth, and its inhabitant, ourselves. How we can connect the dots, how we can connect the concepts to say, okay, it's art a way to really connect our mind, our right as humans with what's happening with the nature. In my left side, you have a video of the project DNA of Democracy that has been accomplished in Germany recently, where we were storing the data of the national democracy text that has happened after the Second World War. It's a concept, it's an ink that is containing in its own DNA the information of this democratic text, to remind that we don't need to make exactly the same mistakes that we are doing today. So one more time, I'm making a flashback to the conceptual art to say, okay, we have something special to say, and you have a tool to sign new documents that are resigning, and that they are adding one more time the value to our species as humans. Those are examples of our brainwaves. This is what we have analyzed by technology from our brain. You know about this. You know, in these conferences, there are a lot of people talking about brainwaves and so on. So in my case, it's not only to take the data, it's how we can connect the data with the very essence of the nature. This is ourselves collecting the data from the consciousness of the planet, from the consciousness of the Amazon. This is the grandfather, Don Mario. They are running this community with a lot of problems. The money is not never arriving there in their community because there's a lot of corruption in the region, but they are holding our knowledge, and we are leaving them die of scarcity. What is happening here is we took different samples from different 4 trees in the region, 4 trees that were very special, are the special ones because the history that is behind of those trees, from the conceptual meaning of the medicine of what that tree is hidden behind, to the history. You know, several years ago, there was more than 20,000 indigenous people killed by destruction of caoutchouc. Because in the Second War, we were needing a lot of plastic, a lot of this material for the helmets, for the wheels, for the military ecosystem. Here, what we are doing is capturing the hidden secrets of the nature with this technique. Because if we analyze the world and we analyze ourselves, we are, let's say, like a shared brain machinery that is moving around as the planet does. And you know, if we talk about this kind of Hertzian system I designed, if we're talking about previous research about how our brain reacts to reality in real time, we have different waves that is happening in our brain depending on our activity. When we are sleeping, or we are dreaming, or we are in consciousness, a high level of state, or if we are making sport, whatever. But the Earth is happening, it has the same sensation. It changes its values of hertz depending on the moment. But now we are making kind of alteration of that ecosystem. In the previous measurements, we were in 7.83 middle measurement in hertz in the frequency of the Earth inside the ionosphere. But now we have, we reach the peak of the mountain with 32.4 hertz. That means that our Earth, it's going out of the range of being connected with our brain. And this is one of my most inspiring sensations to say, okay, something is wrong, something is happening. Are we being still Earthlink if the planet Earth stopped being the Earth? Are we beginning to be kind of extraterrestrial entities in our own home? So I was coming recently from COP16, it's the most important event this year related to biodiversity in Colombia. And our I was working in a very important focus and single idea. Could we have a legal, independent entity of what is invisible? We are all the time dealing with, let's say, things that are touchable. We need to gather everything in the single word that is the matter. We are obsessed by the matter, but the matter is gone in a couple of days. There's nothing behind the matter. The matter is what is invisible. Because if we expand the idea of what is belonging to the imaginary of things, it's exactly the things that are not touchable. We love the health, happiness, sadness. We cannot touch that. And it's the things that are moving our world. So for me, I was kind of obsessed about the invisible, and it's because the project CAPSIDE is trying to bring agency, a legal agency, to the environmental DNA. So what I'm proposing is a massive consciousness, nature, protection, legal capsule. We are trying to produce the idea of how we can actually defend the rights to existence and preservation of the environmental DNA, how we can bring the right to genetic diversity, how we can bring the protection against biopiracy, how we can create protection about the right to natural regeneration, how we can give the right to be free from contamination to the environmental DNA, how we can create a holistic ecosystem protection, how we can bring the right to an evolutionary autonomy. We are manipulating the nature. They have the right to evolve in the right direction. We need the recognition as a biocultural heritage, and it is because I founded the Pineal Museum. It's a museum that is in charge of preserving, conserving, and disseminating the environmental DNA artworks in our time. We need also to bring a right to an ethical research. Sometimes we are using nature as an input to support the human needs. And at the end, we need an international legal protection. And to finish, basically, as a summary of my conversation, just to bring you like the focus idea of my conversation today, you've seen kind of a background of other projects I have been working with and related with DNA storage and so on. But we champion the legal defense of environmental DNA, striving to safeguard the genetic essence of ecosystem and empower nature's right through innovative legal frameworks through conceptual art. That means that we are considering a game changer in the way of we think nature worldwide, because we are making measurements for very specific places. So finally, in your left side, you see this ring that reminds us, it's like a snake that is, eating its own. And they are 10 fingerprints that has been done with Don Gilberto, that is the owner of the community, and is the owner of the gallery of my museum in the Amazon. And those fingerprints was done with the real DNA of the Amazon, and with an ink to sign this potential idea of having the rights of the DNA. And the right side is the moment I was accomplishing, I'm finalizing my residency there with the community, where we produced 16 spheres of caoutchouc, where you can find inside of them the biodiversity of that moment in the Amazon. We put back the information, the real data of the DNA, and we put it back in the nature as a kind of photography of the reality of the biodiversity in the moment that we took the information. And it was amazing because at the very beginning of my presentation, you have seen the grandparents of the community, trying to get to collect the samples, and now you see the child going on top of the tree to install the artwork. So the cycle is closed, and I think that we have an amazing future to accomplish in the union, in the link of biodiversity, new technologies, and for sure human consciousness. Thank you so much.